Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to the Fragrance Well. For today's video topic, we're going to talk about I'm Him scents. Yeah, I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm that one smelling absolutely outstanding. In other words, these are fragrances that, let's just be honest, for most people that wear fragrances, if you wear scents like this, you're going to smell better than them. You're going to smell more interesting, maybe a little bit more exotic, maybe just a higher quality, a little bit more luxurious, whatever you want to call it. And let's just also be fair. This is actually a pretty low bar, for being honest. If you consider what 99% of guys are wearing as fragrances, and I'm talking about guys in particular for this video because, you know, guys watch my channel, you're probably going to smell better than them if you're just even slightly into fragrances more than what the masses are. You're not wearing like typical Sauvages, Aqua de Joes, Blue de Chanel's, stuff like that, even the Club de Nuit Intense Man's fragrances like that. You wear scents like I'm going to present in this video, and again, I think that's a low bar to clear. You're going to smell better than them. It's only when maybe you're going up against, I wouldn't even say people with money. I would just say other people that are a little bit more intentional on their fragrance choices, spend a little bit more money on their fragrance choices, or you're around other fragrance collectors like yourself or like me, then you might have to step that game up a little bit higher to smell better than them. That's a little bit of a higher bar to clear. But in general, this is something that's easy to do, but we're still gonna make a video about it. So this is 10. I'm Him. Wait, is it 10? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, it's 8. I'm sorry, I can't count today. It's 8 I'm Him scents. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And of course, I'll have links to these fragrances down in the description below if they are available. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off with one from Francesca Bianchi. This is going to be Sticky Fingers. Francesca Bianchi, Sticky Fingers. All right, so with this scent here, think black jacket kind of vibe, but also very, very classy. Not scary, but maybe a little bit mysterious. This scent here makes good use of leathery notes, orris butter, really warm, rich spices and resins. Smells outstanding in my opinion. Every time I talk about this fragrances, there's some other fragrances I have that maybe can give you an idea of what this might smell like. I'm sorry guys, I keep forgetting what it is, so I'm just gonna move on. But yeah, that's basically what you get from this. It's kind of powdery, it's a little bit leathery, it's relatively sweet. It's not super syrupy sweet. It's kind of that like honeyed sweetness, if you will, and smells outstanding. You're gonna smell outstanding with a fragrance like this, in my opinion. With this one, you don't necessarily have to dress it up. Could be used as a daily scent, but I would say for most people that probably wouldn't be the top choice for something like that. But excellent smelling fragrance here. You're gonna stand out with this fragrance choice, in my opinion. You're gonna smell separated from the average guy wearing any fragrance. So once again, from Francesca Bianchi, this is Sticky Fingers. All right, guys, next one's coming from Roja Parfums. We're gonna go with Amber Aoud. Roja Parfums, Amber Aoud. Amber Oud fragrance, as the name does suggest. Some other things you get from this, you definitely get some spicy characteristics. There's saffron-like spicy theme here. I'm sure there's other spices in this, but I would say that's the direction it kind of goes in, but not too much. Very luxurious, rich, smooth rose in this. I can't remember what the rose is. It may be May rose, which is a very nice rose. And then the oud in here, it's not overbearing. It's actually not too bad. There's definitely more emphasis on the amber, in my opinion. Very dark amber. I think notes like patchouli are probably in here to kind of aid in that. Probably heavy use of ambergris accords in this as well. This one here, yeah, you probably are going to want to dress this one up. I wouldn't really call this a daily wear fragrance, although, hey, do you. If you want to wear this every day, go for it, right? Who's stopping you? But in general, I would recommend this one as something you're dressing up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a special occasion, doesn't necessarily have to be black tie, but in general, a little bit more of a formal use. But for a fragrance like this, I would say that's probably when it would shine the best and when you would want to smell like that guy in those scenarios. So once again, from Roja Parfums, this is Amber Aoud. All right, guys, this next one's going to be coming from Mason Francis Kirkjohn. We're going to go with Grand Soir. Mason Francis Kirkjohn, Grand Soir. All right, so another amber fragrance, but obviously completely different from Amber Aoud if you're familiar with these two fragrances. This one here is more of a vanillic, resinous, rich, gooey, warm, and inviting amber fragrance. Oh, it smells so good. And the thing about this one is I don't feel like you necessarily have to dress this one up. Matter of fact, if you want to wear this daily, go for it. My wife has done it before. She used to wear this all the time and blend it with Baccarat Rouge 540 X-Straight. Killed it for her, so I'm not mad at her. So yeah, if you want something, if you don't mind, should I say, wearing something a little bit more vanillic, a little bit warmer on a daily basis, you could go for this. Obviously with the cooler months, if you're outside a lot, that may be more of an appropriate choice. If you're indoors, who cares? It doesn't matter. But again, I don't know if everybody necessarily wants to wear vanilla all the time. I am not that kind of guy who likes to wear vanilla a ton, so even this one wouldn't necessarily be a daily wear for me, but I mean, it can work because compliments will definitely rein in with a scent like this. And again, I think you're just going to smell better than the majority of people wearing any fragrance. If you're rocking something like Grand Soir, you're certainly going to smell a little bit more attractive in my opinion. So once again, from Mason Francis Kirkjohn, this is Grand Soir. All right, guys, this next one's coming from Rokas, and this is going to be Moustache Eau de Parfum. Rokas, Moustache Eau de Parfum. Man, I've reached deep in the bag for this one. I don't know when the last time I talked about this, and to be fair, I haven't worn this in forever. And frankly, I'm ashamed of that because I just sprayed it when I grabbed it to put this list together, and I'm like, what am I doing, man? This stuff is amazing. So obviously, if you're familiar with it, it is basically a lower cost version of YSL's Tuxedo. Now, I've smelled Tuxedo. I don't own it. I would like to buy it. But to be fair, it's kind of being put off because I have this fragrance. And also, I do think there is some differences between the two. You can pick them out, but that's neither here nor there. What is this? This is rose, patchouli, spices, sweetness. I think benzoin is heavily used in here. Just gives it a warm characteristic, if you will. It smells really, really good. We know how most of us know how popular Tuxedo is, and obviously you can get something pretty doggone close to it in a much more affordable package. It goes a long way for a lot of people, obviously. But yeah, this in here, I think you're definitely gonna smell leaps and bounds better than most people in occasions where you would want to wear a scent like this. Maybe semi-formal to semi-casual with this fragrance. I don't know if a whole lot of people would necessarily want to wear this on a daily basis, but nevertheless, when you do pull something like this out, I do think you are walking into a room saying, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy smelling better than everybody else in here. So once again, from Rokas, this is Moustache Eau de Parfum. All right, moving on. Next one's coming from By Kilian. This is Intoxicated. By Kilian, Intoxicated. All right, now if you like spicy coffee fragrances, then this one here is just one of those ones out there that could be a good choice. If you like the smell of like ground cardamom, and I mean very realistic in fragrance form, this fragrance here knocked it out of the park with that. I sometimes like to put ground cardamom in my coffee. I usually will make a long black, which is many people call it an Americano. It's you put the water in and you put the espresso on top. That's actually called a long black. And then I'll sprinkle some cardamom right on top of it, and it smells literally like this fragrance. They really knocked it out of the park with this. It's kind of a mocha coffee, a little bit more chocolatey. There is some sweetness in here. I don't add sweetness to my coffee, so that element's not really present. But point is, spicy coffee fragrance, cardamom inspired, maybe a little bit of a Turkish coffee vibe. You're gonna get this from this, and it smells very, very sexy, very, very attractive. And at the end of the day, yeah, if you consider a lot of fragrances out there that have coffee notes and you compare them to a scent like this one is batting much higher batting average than a lot of those fragrances. So once again, from By Kilian, this is Intoxicated. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to one coming from Arabian Oud. This is Blue Oud. Arabian Oud, Blue Oud. Been a while since I've talked about this one, but I think for a list like this, it's great to pull this one back out. So this one, obviously, as the name implies, it is oud. It's actually a couple varieties of oud. If I remember correctly, it's Cambodian oud and Indian oud. I can't remember what it is. You'll see it in the B-roll if I screwed that up, so sorry if I did. But there's also like a musk accord in here that I think is just meant to tie the two together as well as just soften the overall blow of the fragrance. But man, you get so many facets of oud in this scent. It can start off a little bit funky when you first spray it, but to me that settles pretty quickly. After about 5 minutes, that settles down, and then you get like some slight citrusy oud like characteristics. You get woodiness, you get greenness, you get some resinous facet, you even get a little bit of sweetness out of this. It is a symphony of oud, that's what I like to call it. With this one here, you're definitely going to smell leaps and bounds more interesting, more exotic than most people in most situations. In general, I would use this for special occasions slash, dressing relatively nicely. I mean, you could go for it in a somewhat semi-casual situation, but I mean, I guess that just depends on what the situation is, where maybe, you're doing a little too much with the scent. It's just not the right environment where you kind of want to smell exotic. But in those moments when you need that, this fragrance here will definitely have you batting high averages compared to most people. So once again, from Arabian Oud, this is Blue Oud. All right, next one's coming from Orto Parisi. We're gonna go with Bergamask. Orto Parisi Bergamask. All right, so with this one here, compared to what I've talked about so far, this is like really straightforward. It's a play on bergamot and musk in a synthetic way. Doesn't really smell like real bergamot, and musk is a phantom accord that we use now anyway. We don't use actual deer musk anymore, but I do think this one is trying to give you a little bit more of an animalic take on the musk. But it's crazy the way it comes across. It just simply works. Compliment monster here, powerful scent. And out of the ones I've talked about for this video, you can pretty much use this one daily if you want to. Maybe a little bit more centered for warmer weather if you're outdoors more often, but in general, I don't think you can go wrong with a fragrance like this. And also because it is just a different presentation on some notes that are really commonly used across perfumery and across the board, I think that separates it from those other ones. And all I can say is, I don't know why, but this one here just really captivates a lot of people's noses. So you will be that I'm him guy with a fragrance like this. So once again, from Orto Parisi, this is Bergamask. All right, guys, and to wrap it up for this video, we're gonna go with one from Nishane, and this is Ani. Nishane, Ani. Now, those that know my content, or at least have been around for a while, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Ani, but I cannot deny what this fragrance is to a lot of people, and the fact that, hey, you will be smelling better than most people. Another vanilla scent, but going in a completely different direction than the Grand Soir. Number one, you don't really get a whole lot of amberiness from this one. I think it's more of a focus on vanilla. You get some fruity, tart fruity like spices in this. I get some green notes. That's a big separator from a lot of vanillic fragrances for here. And to me, this one overall, it just kind of reminds me of like an interesting take on a sugar cookie. I'm not saying it smells outright like one, but I can't get that picture out of my mind. Ever since I got my nose on this, that is the image that's in my head, and it is burned in there. It is what it is. But yeah, wonderful vanilla fragrance that, again, I'm not the biggest fan of, but in the right scenario, this stuff just slaps. I tend to like to wear this in cooler weather, but a lot of people will wear it in warmer weather. This is another one that if you want to, you could wear this daily, so you don't necessarily have to dress this one up. You don't have to wait for special occasions for a fragrance like this. I did want to throw a couple of fragrances in there like that. But all that being said, I do think with Ani, for the majority of people that wear fragrances, you're going to stand out. You're going to be the center of attention in terms of olfactive experiences wherever you go if you choose a fragrance like this. So once again, from Nishane, this is Ani. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you would like to, let me know down in the comments below, what are some fragrances you like to pull out when you want to be him? You want to be that guy that is smelling better than 99% of the people in the room, wherever you may go. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way until the end. I really do appreciate every last one of you. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.